Hello, hello. We have finished your Renaissance unit. Yay! So you have a test. It is open book. You are allowed to look at your notes, search Moodle, whatever it might be. You're also allowed to have it where you look up anything that you're not too sure about on the internet. That is okay. I also understand that sometimes there might be certain words or whatever it might be that you think you know, but you maybe just need to double check when you look it up. That's totally fine. So here you go. This is going to be your test. You're going to have it where you will make a copy. Make sure you also have it where you put your name before the title of this document. That way, it just makes it easier for when we're going through all the marks and stuff. And now this first part here, you're having it where you need to make sure you match the answer, you match the letter of the answer with what it applies to, all right? And please pay attention to this part because I do still get quite a few students who will not do that and they do something completely different and it makes it very confusing to mark. So for this one here, I'm just going to give you a bit of a clue as far as what you're supposed to do. First one is Renaissance. So you're reading all of these statements here and you're seeing which one you think applies to that. Well, I'm looking through here, discovered gravity, no, that's definitely not it. Most famous Da Vinci painting, no, that's not it. French for rebirth, interesting. Now, what you could do, if you get stuck, because this is in your notes, but I'm just gonna have it where I'm gonna show you, oh dear, I spelled it wrong. I'm gonna show you what you could do if, let's say, you're having a hard time finding it in your notes, something like that. Just have it where you look it up and take a look here. So for Renaissance, it says down here, it actually is from French and it means rebirth. So rebirth. So yes, that would mean this one right here, that would be C. So just put your answer in there and then you're going to keep going. So then you look at Nicholas Copernicus and you're going to, it could be from, that would probably most likely be in your notes from the last 2 lessons, that PowerPoint. You can take a look through there, find the answer, and search here to see which one is correct and have it where you're going to put the letter of the correct answer next to it. So that's for that part. Also, when you are having it where you're doing the short answer questions, just make sure that you are, give me like some good details here, all right? So first one here is explain how Johann Gutenberg revolutionized printing. So you're going to have it where you tell me how he revolutionized printing. What did he do? What did he invent that made such a huge difference when it came to being able to print books, to make books more readily available? All right, I'm gonna actually just get rid of all the extra spaces. You don't need all those extra spaces. Next one here is why the scientific revolution was a revolution. So keeping in mind, when it came to science back in the Middle Ages, they did not encourage very much experimentation with science. Like, it was more theoretical. It was more in theory what they thought was true, but they didn't really do experiments to prove one way or the other if they were correct with their scientific claims. They also had it where things like being able to do autopsies on those who had passed away. They had it where that was actually considered to be a horrible sin. And so with that being the case, when we see the Renaissance happening, we see an entire scientific revolution where now they're encouraging you. They are encouraging you to be able to dig deeper, to be able to find out why things work the way they do, to do some experiments. They started really trying to prove their theories. And so we have people who who discovered gravity. We have people who discovered that the earth is round, not flat. They also discovered things like how the earth is not actually the center of the universe. It actually orbits around the sun and it does not orbit in a perfect circle. And so there's a lot of different things that they discovered, even with the use or with the inventions of things like telescopes and all that kind of stuff. And so there's so many different inventions, there's so many discoveries that they had during this entire period of time during the Renaissance because of this big scientific revolution where they are encouraging scientific thinking and scientific exploration. And so why would that be a revolution? Now, if you're having a hard time with the word revolution, and I always encourage this, if you are struggling with the word, this is what I do. I look it up. even if I've heard the word lots and maybe I think I know what it means, if I have a question that's asking me to really explain my thinking along the lines of a word that I don't fully know, I look it up. And so here, with the word revolution, if you take a look, you'll notice that this is what they're referring to when they're talking about a revolution. So all of this new scientific theory and experiments and all that kind of stuff, a revolution is a dramatic and wide-reaching change in the way something works or is organized or in people's ideas about it. So there's huge changes in people's thinking about science, about scientific discovery, about experimentation to prove or disprove different scientific theories, all those different things. They were exploring, they were inventing. And a revolution, like I said, it completely changes the way people think. As before, they used to think that that would be like, you don't think outside the box. You don't challenge what has already been well established by other people. You don't challenge the church. You have to conform. And so scientific revolution was not about conformity. It was about being able to start exploring and discovering new things. And so you can't do that if you're just conforming. So that was a huge revolution. So I want you to be able to explain those thoughts regarding how the scientific revolution really honestly was a revolution as far as how it changed people's way of living and doing and thinking and being. How did that change things? Because it had huge impacts. And there was a whole section in your PowerPoint that had to do with how scientific thinking changed during the Renaissance. So you can look at that. You have another section here where you have different concepts and people that were from the Renaissance, and you can look through your notes, see if you can find it, and you need to match the person or the concept or something like that. You need to match that with its definition. Again, if there's some words that you're familiar with but you don't really know, look it up. You're also welcome to ask me, but I would always recommend looking it up first, because you might end up finding something that really just like, it makes sense, aha. And then you have just another question here, and it says, identify the movement known as the Enlightenment and at least 3 ideas that emerged during this time. So we're talking about enlightened thinking, having it where they are willing to explore more as far as, like, again, thinking outside the box. They want to be able to explore new ideas. They want to, it really has a lot to do about exploration and about higher thinking and allowing yourself to think outside the box. That was what the period of Enlightenment, which is all happening during the Renaissance, where they are really encouraging being able to really dig into different things. And if you get stuck, you can even have it where you look it up, and it talks about how they're looking at different politics, philosophy, science, and communications, and how that was completely changed. They had it where they were really changing how all of this was done. Like, we're already looking at science and how the way that they approached science and scientific discovery and experimentation, they were completely changing that. They're completely changing the way that they communicated through inventions of the printing press and more access to books, especially in translations that were their own native tongue. More philosophy, where they're starting to have it where they're trying to prove and disprove different theories and all that kind of stuff. So that's where we get a lot of big ideas, a lot of big inventions, and everything is starting to change over the course of the Enlightenment. So what I want you to do is have it where, what are at least 3 different ideas that emerged during that time? Again, take a look through your notes, through the PowerPoint, and have it where you are seeing what you find, and record that down there and put that, I would just say you could even just put it in point form like this, and just tell me those different ideas. And that way I can mark all of that. With that being said, please make sure that you share it with me, please and thank you. The C Peach, not Crystal.Peach. And last one, please share it with my mom. She's going to be helping mark the kind of like the word match thing. So please make sure that you share it with both of us. That way, it'll make it much easier when I have to mark it all. All right, have fun. Hopefully, let me know if you have any questions, but please watch the video. That will help explain some of the different questions that you might be stuck on. And if after watching the video and maybe looking up some things, if it doesn't make sense, talk to me. I'm definitely willing to help you out with that. All right, have a great day.